Yes.
Started, Prabhuji. Right.
Haribol. So, son of such persons can never approach me, gradually sink down to the most abnormal type of existence. This we completed. And what Burian was saying, yeah, again, so those demons were killed by Krishna. They're fortunate because simply they're acting. Like Jai Vijay, they coming as Shishupala, Dantavakra, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, and any other demons who are killed by any of the Vishnu forms, they get benefited. But not all demons get benefited. That was the thing. So now, after this, Krishna answers his question and in this way presents us with our own choice, either adopt demonic life, become degraded and reject, and obtain the supreme destination. Okay, let's go to 21. So now, this chapter has 3 parts: the divine, first 3 verses, the demonic from 4 to 8, and the characteristics of demonic people till 20. From 21 to 24, how one can rise from demonic to divine. Solution Krishna gives. Trividam narkashedam dvaram nashanam atmana kama krodastata lobas tasmadetattrayam tajet. Yes, I've not numbered today, but yes, whatever I'm seeing in order again, we'll go by alphabetical. I don't know.
Then I will start with Hare Krishna.
Alphabetical order.
Yeah, then it comes my name first, Prabhuji, so I will start.
Yeah. So you can go by alphabetical order. Yes.
The translation is Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. There are 3 gates leading to this hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. Purport: the beginning of demonic life is described herein. One tries to satisfy his lust, and when he cannot, anger and greed arise. A sane man who does not want to glide down to the species of demonic life must try to give up these 3 enemies, which can kill the self to such an extent that there will be no possibility of liberation from this material entanglement.
So Krishna is telling here, after explaining, what is that leads to this hellish condition? The lust, kama, anger, krodha, and greed. So lust is called as kama and anger is called as kamanuja. Like there is Rama and Anuja of Ram is Lakshman. Similarly, kama is Ravana and his Anuj is Kumbhakarna, anger or greed. So lust when fulfilled, it becomes greed, logic. Lust when doesn't get fulfilled, it turns into frustration, that is anger. Lust is in passion. Lust is also in passion, and then greed is more passion, and anger is in ignorance. So when a person has a desire, that lust, when he fulfills it, it becomes greed. I want more. For example, when they do serving, they put your favorite sweet, either gulab jamun or ras malai or any of the sweets, and only when it is for limited items. At that time you tasted already one, and you want to taste one more, and that is one more, that is greed. But we don't get why this devotee is not giving me. I think he has some issue with me. He doesn't like me. He has a problem with me. That is anger. So basically, lust means what? A desire to fulfill. When we fulfill that, we want more. We want more and more. And that's what's greed. And when we don't fulfill it, when we get frustrated, that becomes anger. Okay. So what Prabhupada is writing here is the beginning of demonic life is described herein. One tries to satisfy his lust, and when he cannot, anger. And when he does it, greed arises. A sane man who does not want to glide down to the species of demonic life must try to give up these 3 enemies, which can kill the self to such an extent there will be no possibility of liberation from this material entanglement. Yes. Who is B? If not B, then C. If not C, then D. E. Dasraj, who is in the office call. Okay,
I can read them. The call is going on, but I can.
Krishna orders.
Yeah. Krishna orders every sane person to give up lust, anger, and greed. Those qualities are so vicious that even one possessing a divine nature should fear them. For a man, a woman personifies Kama, lust, because she is able to gratify all his sense desires. When Kama is unsatisfied, Krodha, anger, is born. Anger is very difficult to control. Krodha appears only when our desires are checked. But what if we are able to satisfy our desires without hindrance? Do we then become peaceful? No. We are filled with lobha, greed. Greed gives birth to moha, illusion, and loss of discrimination. Next comes mada, the intoxication of pride. The mixture of these five, envy, matsara, is able to manifest fully. Thus, all these demonic qualities are rooted in lust. What results does their avoidance award? Shall I continue,
I
Professor?
think again, Bhurijan is writing here, when Kama is unsatisfied, Krodha, anger is born. Anger is very difficult to control. That is an ignorance actually. Krodha appears only when our desires are checked. But what if we are able to satisfy desires without hindrance? Do we then become peaceful? No, we have become greedy. Yeah, greed gives birth to moha. So from again, he's continuing. I just told two things. Again, from greed, a person starts dreaming, moha, illusion, and loss of discrimination. Next comes mada, the intoxication. Mixture of these five, envy, matsara, is able to manifest fully. Thus, all these demonic qualities are rooted in the lust. What result does their avoidance award? That is the next shloka. So all of you understood this thing. The beginning, it is lust, the desire to enjoy separately from Krishna. Some, because of the past karma, are able to fulfill it. They become greedy, and again, rest other anarthas continue. Those who cannot, they become angry, and they get frustrated, and they degenerate again in anger. That is also ignorance. So what results? Those who don't accept this three gates, lust, anger, and greed. Like all of us are trying to avoid this lust, anger, and greed. So what is our destination? Eter vimukta kaunteya tamodvare stribinara acharati atmana shreyas tato yati param gatim. Yes. Next. Who is there? A, B, C, D. Himanshu Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
I think Chakrapani Rao Prabhu is there in C.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Please read, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu. I'll start from translation.
Hmm.
The man who escaped these great three gates of hell, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization and thus gradually attains the supreme destination. One should be very careful of these three enemies to human life: lust, anger, and greed. The more a person is freed from lust, anger, and greed, the more his existence becomes pure. Then he can follow the rules and regulations enjoined in the Vedic literature. By following the regulative principles of human life, one gradually raises himself to the platform of spiritual realization. If one is so fortunate by such practice to rise to the platform of Krishna consciousness, then success is guaranteed for him. In the Vedic literature, the ways of action and reaction are prescribed to enable one to come to the stage of purification. The whole method is based on giving up lust, greed, and anger. By cultivating knowledge of this process, one can be elevated to the highest position of self-realization. This self-realization is perfected in devotional service. In the devotional service, the liberation of the conditioned soul is guaranteed. Therefore, according to the Vedic system, there are instituted the four orders of life and four statuses of life, called the caste system and the spiritual order system. There are different rules and regulations for different castes or divisions of society. And if a person is able to follow them, he will be automatically raised to the highest platform of spiritual realization. Then he can have liberation without a doubt. Surrender and
Dharma atha pumbir sheshta varnashram vivagasa swanishtitasya dharmasya samsiddhim haritoshanam. There is regulation. As soon as there is regulation, the whole regulation is to check the lust. And then there is different varna, there are different ashrama. The purpose of that is also to come to Krishna consciousness. Or if one is fortunate to get a spiritual master, practice Vaidhi Bhakti, get initiated by him. Under his guidance, come to Raganuga Bhakti, then Bhava Bhakti, Prem Bhakti. That is also in process. So what Prabhupada has given us till now in ISKCON is the Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, the Raganuga, the Bhava Bhakti, and Prem Bhakti. And what was prevalent in Vedic times was Varnashram. But yes, Varnashram is a part of the Bhakti process. It's not the goal. It's the means. One has to rise to that goal. Because when Ramananda Rai asks, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks Ramananda Rai, what is the perfection of life? Then he says, how one can perfect one's life? Then he comes to the point of Varnashram. Then he tells yes. And then now after that what? Then he continues, and then ends with pure love of Krishna in the mode of gopis. It ends with that. So Varnashram is the beginning, but the end, what we are trying to get it, that is the conclusion of the practice of Varnashram, to become a devotee of Krishna. Yes, Himanshu Prabhu, we can read this one.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Our choice is clear. Choosing to escape the banyan tree of the material world entails choosing to free ourselves from lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, and envy. Yet, contemporary civilization, being demonic, explicitly encourages the cultivation of lust, anger, and greed. Krishna now offers two verses as conclusions to this chapter. First, using a negative statement, Krishna directs us to bring our activities in line with Shastra. Krishna then, through a positive statement, offers the same direction in the final verse of this chapter.
So 21, 22 speaks about what is the trap for this demonic mentality and what is the solution. Solution is one should not succumb to lust, anger, and greed. Practice bhakti. Beginning, okay, if at all not bhakti, then at least start with Varnashram. And then the next verse he speaks about why people don't accept bhakti. But those who are very proud and who don't accept either the Vedic literature, which consists of Varnashram Dharma and even Shuddha Bhakti, what happens to them? Yashastra viti mustrajya vartate kamakarata nasa siddhima vapnoti nasukam na param gatim. So those who cultivate the demonic, who cultivate this lust, anger, and greed, because of that kamakarata, because they are very addicted. What happens with this lauding or mentality is, if you see carefully, Ishanishat verse 1, Om Purnamada, invocation Om Purnamada, then Isha Vashram. Then one who continues to lead like this, then he can continue to stay for hundreds of years. That is second verse. Then last, Asuri Namati Loka. So they want quick pleasure. And because of they want quick pleasure, they're addicted to it. They feel, why we want regulation? Same thing happens in a family life. Same thing happens in a community. Same thing happens anywhere. Even if we open a ISKCON center and we make preach and we don't have much reading, hearing, rules, regulations, satsang programs, then people, once you give, okay, one month you'll not have satsang program. And after that, you call all devotees and tell, okay, summer vacation for all of you, so all of you can go along with your family, relatives here, there, and everything. And after 1 month, you tell, okay, again we'll have satsang program for every week. People will tell Prabhuji, now we become addicted to not coming for satsang program. That is the danger of it. So, same thing, I'm just giving an example because you can relate to it. Same thing, the demonic mentality is, once they start getting addicted to enjoying lauding over mentality, it becomes very difficult for them to accept some superior authority or regulation. Yes. Who's next? Meenu Mataji, I think so. Madhvi Reddy Mataji. Yes, Madhvi Reddy Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Translation. He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. Purport. As described before, the Shastra Vidhi or the direction of the Shastra is given to the different castes and orders of human society. Everyone is expected to follow these rules and regulations. If one doesn't follow them and acts whimsically according to his lust, greed, and desire, then he never will be perfect in his life. In other words, a man may theoretically know all these things, but if he doesn't apply them in his own life, then he is to be known as the lowest of mankind. In the human form of life, a living entity is expected to be sane and to follow the regulations given for elevating his life to the highest platform. But if he doesn't follow, then he degrades himself. But even if he follows the rules and regulations and moral principles and ultimately doesn't come to the stage of understanding the Supreme Lord, then all his knowledge becomes spoiled. And even if he accepts the existence of God and if he doesn't engage himself in the service of Lord, his attempts are spoiled. Therefore, one should gradually raise himself to the platform of Krishna consciousness and devotional service. It is then and there that he can attain the highest professional stage, not otherwise. The word kama karta is very significant. A person who knowingly violates the rules acts in lust. He knows that this is forbidden, but still he acts. This is called acting whimsically. He knows that this should be done. Okay. It's repeating. Such persons are destined to be condemned by the Supreme Lord. Such persons can't have the perfection which is meant for the human life. The human life is especially meant for purifying one's existence. And one who doesn't follow the rules and regulations can't purify himself, nor can he attain the real stage of happiness.
Yes. So Prabhupada is telling, basically people practice so many things in the name of spirituality, but the purpose, they never come to Krishna. What all things people do? They spend so much of money. There is passage that in Hinduism only, which I don't want to take the name, who do so many things. Not 1, 2, 3. There are so many people in the name of Hinduism. People do what all things? They don't know what to do. They spend so much money. They building big pandals. They have chaturmasas, this, that. Ultimately, they don't come to any conclusion. Like that, there's so many organizations, there's so many followers, but then they never come close to Krishna. But according to them, Krishna is in hell. So it's a very strange philosophy. The Prabhupada was telling her, but even if he follows the rules and regulations and moral principles and ultimately does not come to the stage of understanding Supreme Lord, Shama evai kevalam. Dharma sunishtita pumsam vishvakshena katasva na utpadiyadi ritim Shama evahi kevalam. And even if he accepts the existence of God, if he does not engage himself in service of the Lord, his attempts are spoiled. Armchair speculators will be nanny. So again, Bhavanam Janmanamante. Therefore, one should gradually rise him to the platform of Krishna consciousness. Bhakti. So Bhakti is very important. It is then and there that he can attain the highest professional stage, not otherwise. So what is the opposite of that? Kama Karata. Why is he not able to practice it? Because of Kama Karata. He wants Jan Bujke. Same thing Prabhupada writes in the Ishopanishad first mantra. What is sin? Sin is deliberate disobedience to the will of God. That is called Kama Karata. Ishopanishad, what you have read? Sin. The same thing is called as the Kama Karata. This is called acting whimsically. He knows that this should not be done, but still he does not do it. Still he does not do it. He is called whimsical. Such persons are destined to be condemned by Supreme Lord. Such persons cannot have the perfection that is meant for human life. So basically, right now, condition is a disease condition. And enjoyment of the disease condition, enjoyment in the disease condition, somebody has a disease. If they don't take rest, it aggravates and worsens the effect. If it can cure in 2 days, if we don't take rest, if we keep on working hard, again it may relapse. So when we become diseased without taking rest and taking the cure of bhakti, they are called as, in whose cases, the living entities in whose case the disease relapses, they are called as demons. They basically don't take the treatment of Vedic literature very, very seriously. Yes. What Gurujan Prabhu has to say? Yes, show the connection between not following Shastri and acting in lust, anger, and greed. Yeah, same thing. Prabhupada is quoting the same Prabhupada's purport here. Yes, we'll go to the last sloka of this chapter. So then what Krishna is explaining here? So one should not hesitate, one should not become lazy, one should not, in passion and ignorance, one should not try to give up following the Shastras, one should come to goodness, one should transcend the Charma Chakshu, the skin, seeing on the level of skin, or one's own sense perception. One should come to the Shastra Chakshu. That is possible only in goodness. Tashma Shastra Pramanamte कार्यकार्य व्यवस्थितो ज्ञात्वा शास्त्र विधानोक्तं कर्म कर्तुम इहार्हसि. Yes, Meenu Mataji, you can read.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Translation. One should therefore understand that is what is duty and what is not duty by the regulation of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulation, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. Purport. As stated in the 15th chapter, all the rules and regulation of the Vedas are meant for knowing Krishna. If one understands Krishna from the Bhagavad-Gita and becomes situated in Krishna consciousness, engaging himself in devotional service, he has reached the highest perfection of knowledge offered by the Vedic literature. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made this process very easy. He asked people simply to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and to engage in the devotional service of the Lord and eat the remains of the food stuff offered to the deities. One who is directly engaged in all these devotional activities is to be understood as having studied all Vedic literature. He has come to the conclusion perfectly, of course, for the ordinary person who are not in Krishna consciousness or who are not engaged in devotional service. What is to be done and what is not to be done must be decided by the injunctions of the Vedas. One should act accordingly without argument. That is called following the principle of Shastra or scripture. Shastra is without the four principal defects that are visible in the conditioned soul. Imperfect senses, the propensity for cheating, certainty of committing mistakes, and certainty of being illusioned. These four principal defects in conditions life disqualify one from putting forth rules and regulations. Therefore, the rules and regulations are described in the Shastra being above three defects, are accepted without alteration by all great saints, acharyas, and great souls. In India, there are many parties of spiritual understanding generally classified as two, the impersonalist and the personalist. Both of them, however, lead their lives according to the principle of the Vedas. Without following the principle of the scriptures, one cannot elevate himself to the perfectional stage. One who actually therefore understands the purport of Shastra is considered fortunate. In human society, aversion to the principle of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of all fall downs. That is the greatest offense of human life. Therefore, Maya, the material energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always giving us trouble in the shape of the threefold miseries. This material energy is constituted of the three modes of material nature. One has to raise himself at least to the mode of goodness, therefore the path of understanding the Supreme Lord can be opened. Without raising oneself to the standard of the mode of goodness, one remains in ignorance and passion, which are the cause of demonic life. Those in the modes of passion and ignorance deride the scriptures, deride the holy man, and deride the proper understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That they disobey the instruction of the spiritual master and do not care for the regulation of the scriptures. In spite of hearing the glories of the devotional services, they are not attracted. Thus, they manufacture their own way of elevation. These are some of the defects of human society which lead to the demonic status of life. If, however, one is able to guide it by the proper and bona fide spiritual master, who can lead one to the path of elevation, to the higher stage, and one's life becomes successful. This and the Bhakti Vedanta. Prabhuji, can you scroll down a little bit? Yeah, thus and the Bhakti Vedanta purport of the 16th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam Gita and the matter of the divine and demonic nature.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay. You complete this chapter. So what is the conclusion of this chapter is whatever condition of conditioning we may have from the past life, if good fortune arises, there's a book by Gaurav Maharaj, he's after his biography called as When Good Fortune Arises. That is when a living entity can follow scriptures, authority. This is very important. If you see all branches of science, all branch of Vedic literature, this is very much stressed. The karma is there. People say, no, everything is destined, this and that. Whatever it might be, but if one takes up authority, his whole karma can change. That is what Prabhupada is trying to tell here very clearly. And that is possible when we try our best to rise above the modes of ignorance and passion. If we can do that, then we can actually become, we can unwind karma by the mercy of a guru. So therefore, that is only possible in goodness. So goodness, that is how, in just beginning of this shloka I told, ignorance and passion binds us and goodness liberates us from the cycle of birth and death. But that goodness should not lead us only to Brahman, that goodness should take us to the Paramatma and then to Bhagavan. And therefore, Prabhupada told even impersonalists and personalists, both of them follow the scriptures. Because both, if you see any organization, any spiritual organization, they'll accept soul, they'll accept Guru, surrender to Guru. Till that point, it's there. And some Mayavadis who are there, they'll also accept and they'll tell no need to accept the Guru after some time. That is another thing. But if they're impersonalists, if they want to even merge in Brahman, Brahmajyoti, Brahmatmiti, Brahmiti, till the end also they have to accept a Guru. That is how it happens. So especially in the path of Bhakti process, it's like end and means. It's like whatever you begin with Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, all the 9 processes, it begins with that, and the goal of our, it's a means and it's an end. That is what we are going to go in the spiritual world after going there also. So in this chapter, Krishna speaks about the divine qualities, the fruits of that upside down banyan tree of material existence. The roots are 3 modes, nourished by 3 modes. It is on being reflected from the desire, that is lust. The divine qualities, demonic qualities, because that is the main reflection. Again, lust, anger, and greed. The desire is the lust. So the solution in Krishna gives is Shastras. Follow scriptures. You can liberate. You can get liberated. You can go to the spiritual world. You can get your Swarup Siddhi. Or you can Brahman, Paramatma, all these three liberations. But those who don't, 23rd verse. Yes, Sastrate Mustajya Vartate Kamakarvadu. Because of their lust, they don't follow. Then their destination is hellish condition. Asurya Namate Lota. Andya Tamsavritam. But then we have a question. We have seen so many people, at least even in that day also, in those days also, because if Krishna is speaking it, it might be prevalent in those days also. But at least we see so many organizations around who don't follow scriptures. But then when we see them, they also do a lot of activities. They also demand faith. They also have so many rituals. They also have so many practices. So what happens to such kind of people? They also need Shraddha. They also need some amount of austerity. They also need some amount of charity. All those things. Because any organization, they need all, whatever is prevalent in ISKCON, that is all items come in there. But in ISKCON, it is in transcendence, Shuddha Sattva. But in other organizations, somewhere it might be in ignorance, somewhere it might be in passion, somewhere it might be in goodness. There might be Rajasic Sanstha, a Tamasic Sanstha, then there might be a Sattvic Sanstha, which may not lead us directly to Krishna. So that is what Krishna is going to elaborate in 17th chapter, in 3 modes. In charity, donation, charity in goodness, charity in passion, charity in ignorance. That is the reason why I asked all of you to read is, what is the connection between this chapter and the next chapter is Krishna is speaking very clearly except Shastras. But there are many people, majority of the people who may not accept scriptures as it is. So then what happens to them? Their destination, their characteristics is mentioned in the 17th chapter. So let's go to the next chapter. Next, who is the next devotee with yes, Murari too? Can you read this?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
If somebody is in meeting, let me know. Just put me chat directly so that I'll not put you out of the Zoom call.
Shall I
Yes.
read or no, Prabhu?
Yes, please read.
Krishna concluded chapter 16 by establishing that those who follow Shastra are divine and those who do not are demonic. Sri Baladeva Vidyabhushan introduced chapter 17 with Arjuna inquiring, you have described in previous chapter that those who study the Vedas follow their injunctions, try to understand their meaning and have faith in their authority are devas. You have then described those who disregard the Vedas and act outside the scope of Vedic injunctions as asuras. Now, I have a question. What is the position of those who have comprehended the difficult texts of the Vedas, both learning them by rote and understanding their meaning, but who, because of lack of diligence, abandon the Vedic injunctions and instead worship demigods and others with the kind of faith found in worldly conduct? What is their position relative to above ascertained distinctions between the Devatas and Asuras? Devas and Asuras. Please answer this, taking into consideration both their neglect of Vedic injunctions and their positions of sincere faith. Arjuna inquired, O Krishna, what is the situation of those who do not follow the principle of scriptures but worship according to their own imagination? Are they in goodness, in passion, or ignorance? Arjuna would like to know.
Yes, we'll start now.
Okay.
Yes, we can read what Prabhupada is giving introduction here. This one.
Okay, Prabhu. There are three types of faith corresponding to and evolving from the three modes of material nature. Acts performed by those who faith in passion and ignorance yield only impermanent material results, whereas acts performed in goodness in accord with the scriptural injunctions purify the heart and lead to pure faith in Lord Krishna and devotion to him.
Yes. So pure only goodness, acts in goodness will not lead us to us, but goodness under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master can lead this to us. So there are many people who are in goodness, but without bona fide spiritual master, they will not come to Krishna. Arjuna vacha ye shastra vidin mustrajya yajante shraddhayanvita tesham nishtatu ka karshna satvam aho rajastama. Yes, I think already we read the translation. Yes. So some next devotee, Navanita Mataji, please read. Translation again.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Danvat Pranam.
Yes.
Purport. In the 14th chapter, 39th verse, it is said that a person faithful to a particular type of worship gradually becomes elevated to the stage of knowledge and attains the highest perfectional stage of peace and prosperity. In the 16th chapter, it is concluded that one who does not follow the principles laid down the scriptures is called an asura, demon, and one who follows the scriptural injunctions faithfully is called a deva or demigod. Now, if one with faith follows some rules which are not mentioned in the scriptural injunctions, what is his position? This doubt of Arjuna's is to be cleared by Krishna. Are those who create some sort of god by selecting a human being and placing their faith in him, worshipping in goodness, passion, or ignorance? Do such person attain the perfectional stage of life? Is it possible for them to be situated in real knowledge and elevate themselves to the highest perfectional stage? Do those who do not follow the rules and regulations of the scriptures, but who have faith in something and worship gods and demigods, and men attain success in their effort? Arjuna is putting these questions to Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yes. So, yes, Gurujan Prabhu exactly repeats Prabhupada purport here. So all of you understood the gist of this chapter, right? Basically, anything less than Krishna is whether demigods or some person or anyone with Shraddha, they'd go there. So what is the destination? That is what Krishna, Arjuna has been Krishna. Shri Bhagavan Yuvacha. So now Krishna is going to answer. Like all of you are very eager to hear now. Trivida bhavati shraddha dehinam sa svabhavaja Satviki Rajasi Chaiva Tamasi Cheti Tamshanu. Yes. Next, who is there? Srinivas Prabhu. Raja Ramesh Prabhu. Yes.
Prabhuji, I'm there in between.
Oh, you are in between. Okay, please read.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Sorry,
Prabhuji,
I missed
before
you.
I read, I have one small question. So what Arjuna is inquiring here, he is asking about the people who doesn't follow the scriptures but still worship. So worship here is meant only demons or demigods, because Brajavasis, if we consider, they perform this Ragatmika Bhakti. So they don't follow any scriptures. They just love Krishna out of their affection. So here it is, the worship of Krishna is not, it's not talking about worship of Krishna, right, Prabhuji? It's only about demigods, demons, and ghosts.
This chapter, you are speaking about Krishna is telling, okay, follow the scripture. Then if you follow scripture, you will attain perfection. But on the Vrajvasis, we see they don't follow the scripture, but they're attached to Krishna. So what is their destination? That is your question?
Yes, Prabhuji.
The purpose of Sarva, if you Nectar of Devotion, when I complete this, from next July, I will start Nectar of Devotion. The Nectar of Devotion was written by Bhakti Rasamrita, written by Rup Goswami. He says the essence of all scriptures is Sarva Vidhi Nisheth is Smartavyam Satam Vishnu Vismartavyam Najatu Chit. The purpose of all rules and regulations, scriptural injunctions is we should not forget that it is meant for pleasing Vishnu and not displeasing Vishnu.
Yes,
so one should please Vishnu, one should not displease, one should not displease him. So therefore, yes, they are doing it, and because they have not read scriptures now, but when all of you practice, we'll do Bhakti Shastri, then after that we'll start chanting, we'll get initiated. Then when you get, when you start delighting in chanting holy names, and you may rise from the Sadhana Bhakti to Raganuga Bhakti, and then when we will leave this body, we will all of you will get chance to become Rajvasis in the next life. And then when you go to the Bhauma Vrindavana, there you'll get fully purified. You'll get training under the Ragatmika Bhaktas, and from there you'll go to spiritual world. So that doesn't mean that you are not reading scriptures. That doesn't mean that like Rajvasi are not reading scriptures, but they have done it. Kritak Punja Punja, because Sukdev Goswami is telling to Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj is asking, what is the fortune of these coward boys? They're dancing with Krishna and they're entering Agasu's mouth. And Krishna is worried about how to save them. That time Sukdev Goswami says, Kritak Punja Punja. I think we have read this in Ishwanishad. This shloka comes. So the Vrajavasis, they are perfected beings from past lives. And they get the position of perfection in Vraja. So they have done all sacrifices, all the Vedic literature, all reading. That is the reason they have reached to that position.
Yes, understood.
So they are not in sadhana bhakti, they are in prem bhakti, beyond. But they have to go to sadhana, ragunaga, then bhav, then prem. Means they already done it. This is about the sadhana sadhakas. There are two kinds of perfection. Nitya Siddha and Sadhana Siddha. Nitya Siddha, they are already there in spiritual world. But what I'm saying about Sadhana Siddha, how they perfect their life.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, you can read the translation.
Yes, Prabhu. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, according to modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith cannot be of three kinds: in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance. Now hear about it. Purport. Those who know rules and regulations of the scriptures, but out of those who knows the rules and regulations of the scriptures, but out of laziness or indolence give up following these rules and regulations, are governed by the modes of material nature. According to their previous activities in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, they acquire a nature which is of a specific quality. The association of living entity with the different modes of nature has been going on perpetually. Since the living entity is in contact with material nature, he acquires different types of mentality according to his association with the material modes. But this nature cannot be changed if one associates with a bona fide spiritual master and abides his rules and the scriptures. Gradually, one can change his position from ignorance to goodness or from passion to goodness. The conclusion is that blind faith in a particular mode of nature cannot help a person become elevated to the perfectional stage. One has to consider things carefully with intelligence in association of a bona fide spiritual master. Thus, one can change his position to a higher mode of nature. Thank you, Puji. Hare Krishna.
One has to consider things carefully with intelligence in the direction of bona fide spiritual master. That is, Prabhupada himself is writing this very clearly. That even if we are very in sattvic bhav, we are not eating meat, we are strictly following good principles, we are very proud of our cleanliness, but unless otherwise is guided by spiritual master, there is no progress. Thus, one can change his position to a higher mode of nature. Therefore, this is speaking about those people who are very, very devoted, but they have no direction in life. And they start doing on things on their own. Sattvanurupa sarvasya shraddha bhavati bharata shraddha mayoyam purusho yat shraddha sayevasa. Yes.
Yeah, Prabhu. O son of Bharata, according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The living being is said to be of a particular faith according to the modes he has acquired. Purport. Everyone has a particular type of faith, regardless of what he is. But his faith is considered good, passionate, or ignorant, according to the nature he has acquired. Thus, according to his particular type of faith, one associates with certain persons. Now, the real fact is that every living being is, as is stated in the 15th chapter, is originally a fragmental part and parcel of Supreme Lord. Therefore, one is originally transcendental to all modes of material nature. But when one forgets his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and comes into contact with the material nature in conditional life, he generates his own portion by association with the different varieties of material nature. The resultant artificial faith and existence are only material. Although one may be conducted by some impressions and some conceptions of life, originally he is nirguna or transcendental. Therefore, one has to become cleansed of the material contamination that he has acquired in order to regain his relationship with the Supreme Lord. That is the only path back without fear, Krishna consciousness. If one is situated in Krishna consciousness, then the path is guaranteed for his elevation to the perfectional stage. If one does not take to this path of self-realization, then he is surely to be conducted by the influence of modes of material nature. The word Shraddha or faith is very significant in this verse. Shraddha or faith originally comes out of the mode of goodness. One's faith may be in demigods or some created god or some mental concoction. One strong faith is supposed to be productive of works of material goodness. But in the material conditional life, yes, no works are completely purified. They are mixed. They are not in pure goodness. Pure goodness is transcendental. In purified goodness, one can understand the real nature of Supreme Personality of Godhead. As long as one's faith is not completely in purified goodness, the faith is subjected to contamination by any of modes of material nature. The contaminated modes of material nature expand to the heart. Therefore, according to the portion of the heart, in contact with a particular mode of material nature, one's faith is established. It should be understood that if one's heart is in the mode of goodness, his faith is also in the mode of goodness. If his heart in the mode of passion, his faith is also in the mode of passion. And if his heart is in the mode of darkness, illusion, his faith is also thus contaminated. Thus, we find different types of faith in this world, and there are different types of religions due to different types of faith. The real principle of religious faith is situated in the mode of pure goodness. But because the heart is tainted with taint, we find different types of religious principles. Thus, according to different types of faith, there are different kinds of worship.
Yes. Generally, when we speak of head, head is basically okay. because of some circumstance, because of some accident, something happened. Unwillingly, some person did something, something like that. But when you speak of the heart, it is janbujke, willful indulgence. Therefore, this modes which one carries, it's not accident. It's willfully made choice in the past lives, and therefore a person gets a particular modes. That is what Prabhupada is writing here in the last. First thing Prabhupada writes in the first paragraph. Although, what is the cause of different faith? Based on association. Okay. Although living in this fragmental part, one is originally transcended to all modes of material nature, but when he forgets his relation with the Supreme, comes in contact with the material nature and conditional life, he generates his own position by association of different varieties of material nature. The cause of the different forms of faith is because of lording it over mentality, or giving up the service of the Lord. Once one does that, then one consciously, Prabhupada writes here, if his heart, the contaminated modes of material nature expand to the heart. According to position of the heart in contact with the particular mode of actual here, Prabhupada writes. Thus, according to different types of faith, there are different kinds of worship. So one willingly takes up one particular mode. So oneself is responsible for that. So Lord is not responsible for that. So it's like the same one. There's one school, one university, but somebody does only nursery, somebody does high school, somebody does college, somebody does some diploma, somebody does engineering or some degree, then somebody completes masters, somebody completes. So it's a student's basically his choice. Similarly, this universe is a university, and Jnana Marga, Karma Marga, Ashtanga Marga, Dhyan Marga, Bhakti Marga, these are different grades. So those who are in this material world, in this universe, the living entities, it's their desire, conscious desire, not unconscious desire. It's a conscious desire because of which they develop different faiths by associating with that modes. That is what Prabhupada is trying to is writing here. Yajante satvika devan yaksha raksham shirajasa pretan bhutaganamschanye yajante tamasajana. So now after speaking about the faith in three modes, what is the cause of faith? Giving up the faith in Krishna. And if one gives up faith in Krishna, then one wants to have faith in the prohibited reflection. There are three modes. So according to that, it is goodness, passion, ignorance, and it is conscious choice. Now, after having the conscious choice in the faith, then what kind of once has faith, then accordingly he has to carve the deity. So what kind of worship they do? That is the connection. So those are Satvika, they worship the demigods. And the Yakshas, Rakshasham, Rajasa, those are Rajasa, they worship Yakshas for desires to be fulfilled. And then those are in the Tamoguna, they worship Bhutas, Pretas, Ganachayana, Yajanti, Tamasajana. So based on the modes, then the worship also falls. Yes.
Prabhuji, can I ask you a question, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes.
It says that the contaminated modes of material nature expand to the heart. That means it influences our heart or the heart chakra. So does that mean people who have heart-related issues, they are being, influenced by the contaminated modes of material nature? It
The
could
heart
be
mentioned
possible.
here, the heart mentioned here is Chitta, not the.
Oh, not the organ heart.
Yes, yes. The Chitta is like the core.
You mean the consciousness?
Yes, Chetana is consciousness. There's something like third kind of Bhagavatam is explained. There is mind, there is intelligence, there's ahankara, and there is Chitta, contaminated Chitta, contaminated consciousness, which makes the Lord ego tendency. The subtle body has these three features. Generally, we have heard about mind, intelligence, ego, but Kapila speaks about the one more thing called Chitta. That Chitta has to be Shuddha.
The Chetana. Chitta is Chetana, right?
Consciousness.
Which travels with you.
Yes, that is being referred to as heart here.
So you are carrying the modes of material nature from your life, and it is being influenced by the association you get in every life.
And one is consciously choosing it. That is the meaning of heart. When it's spoken about heart means the core of our consciousness, chitta. We have a heart which pumps, but here the heart is referring to conscious choice. And when we speak about the mind, it's not the mistake of a mind. Mind means he didn't knew it, unknowingly did it. That is called the mistake of a mind. But mistake of a heart means jaan bujh ke karna. He knew what is right, what is wrong, but consciously he has done that mistake because he knows it. He knows the consequence, but still because of the weakness of heart, he has done it. That is the meaning. Okay. Yes, Ram Reddy, please read.
Hare Krishna, translation. Men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. Those in the mode of passion worship the demons. And those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. Purport. In this verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead describes the different kinds of worshippers according to their external activities. According to scriptural injunction, only the Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipable. But those who are not very conversant with or faithful to the scriptural injunction worship different objects according to their specific situations in the modes of material nature. Those who are situated in goodness generally worship the demigods. The demigods include Brahma, Shiva, and others such as Indra, Chandra, and the sun god. There are various demigods. Those in goodness worship a particular demigod for a particular purpose. Similarly, those who are in the mode of passion worship the demons. We recall that in the Second World War, a man in Calcutta worshipped Hitler because thanks to that war, he had amassed a large amount of wealth by dealing in the black market. Similarly, those in the modes of passion and ignorance generally select a powerful man to be God. They think that anyone can be worshipped as God and that the same results will be obtained. Now it is clearly described here that those who are in the mode of passion worship and create such gods, and those who are in the mode of ignorance in darkness worship dead spirits. Sometimes people worship at the tomb of some dead man. Sexual service is also considered to be in the mode of darkness. Similarly, in remote villages in India, there are worshippers of ghosts. We have seen that in India, the lower class of people sometimes go to the forest, and if they have a knowledge that a ghost lives in a tree, they worship the tree and offer sacrifices. These different kinds of worships are not actually God worship. God worship is for persons who are transcendentally situated in pure goodness. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 4.3.23, it is stated that Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva Shabditam. When a man is situated in pure goodness, he worships Vasudeva. The purport is that those who are completely purified of the material modes of nature and who are transcendentally situated can worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The impersonalists are supposed...
I'll ask some other devotees to read who are in queue. Huh? We will read this long paper. Thank you. Yes, after him, there is Srinivas, who please read. And after that, Survi Mataji. Next verse. Yeah.
The impersonalists are supposed to be situated in the mode of goodness, and they worship 5 kinds of demigods. They worship the impersonal Vishnu in the material world, which is known as philosophized Vishnu. Vishnu is the expansion of Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the impersonalists, because they do not ultimately believe in Supreme Personality of Godhead, imagine that Vishnu form is just another aspect of impersonal Brahman. Similarly, they imagine that Lord Brahma is the impersonal form in the material mode of passion. Thus, they sometimes describe 5 kinds of gods that are worshipable. But because they think that the actual truth is impersonal Brahman. They dispose all worshipable objects at the ultimate end. In conclusion, the different qualities of the material modes of nature can be purified through association with person who are transcendental nature.
Yeah, again, Prabhupada is writing here indirectly. Spiritual master, when good fortune arises, one gets association of bona fide spiritual master. This was the magic in the case of hippies who became happies, the association of Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Surbhi Dikshit Mataji, you can read this.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
I think, yeah, you can read from here as mentioned in the purport.
As mentioned in this purport, faith comes from the mode of pure goodness. It is manifest, however, according to the modes that dictate our nature. According to the modes that dominate a person, therefore, he will naturally become attracted to a specific object and method of worship. Srila Baladeva Vidyabhushana explains that texts 2 to 4 describe those who have given up Shastra out of laziness or because the required worship was troublesome, yet faithfully worship the demigods. Text 5 to 6, in contrast, describe not those who have whimsically given up the following Shastra, but those who are against Vedic practices.
So what we are at 2:4 is, out of laziness, are they troublesome? Are they addicted to it? And 5 and 6 refers to whimsically given up following Shastras, but those are against Vedic practices. So ye Shastra Visyam Ushtrajya, that is 5th and 6th. Yes. So we have 5 more minutes left. We'll read the shloka.
Prabhuji, the people who worship Kal Bhairav and all those Shakti and Tantric Vidya and all that, so it's all mode of ignorance? Or is it mode of passion?
Passion, ignorance. Shakti Devi is passion. Then Bhairava and other things is in ignorance. And those who worship Shiva, the Ayers, they are in goodness.
So if Bhairav is a form of Shiva only, but it is an ignorance, and if they worship Shiva, it's goodness.
If they are following the principles of, they are not killing any animals, like the way the South Indian Brahmanas worship Lord Shiva. They don't sacrifice any animals, nothing. So that is what they are following. Then it's like in goodness. It's based on their faith. Person in goodness worships Lord Shiva, it is in goodness. Person who is in ignorance, they are sacrificing Bali, 5 things. Then there's meat, there is liquor, then they are drinking, smoking, then there's illicit sex, then it is in passion, in ignorance. Basically, it's based on what mode. When you see, you can clearly see the mode existing when you go to a particular temple. When you see this kind of mode, you can understand whether it is passion or ignorance and goodness. Actually, if you see from the point of view of worshipable object of deity, worship of Lord Vishnu is in goodness. If they transcend that goodness, it becomes transcendence. Worship of Lord Shiva, Brahma, are any demigods in passion. And worship of Lord Shiva is in ignorance. That is how it is mentioned for Tamoguna, Rajoguna, Sattva. But again, Prabhupada is mentioning here, but there are people who also worship Lord Shiva or with goodness. That is what he wrote in the beginning of this purport here. In demigods include Brahma, Shiva, and others such as in the Chandra, sun god. Goodness. This shloka speaks those who are situated in goodness. So this is speaking of the faith of the people. So based on here, there is not like nobody is involved in breaking of principles like drinking liquor or killing anyone. So therefore it's called goodness. But if again Kal Bhairava, if they are sacrificing goats, if they are drinking bhang, then it is that kind of worship is an ignorance.
So these Naga sadhus and all are doing worship in ignorance?
Again, they worship in ignorance, or it can be they are trying to follow.
But they get so many siddhis in ignorance.
Yeah, they can get ignorance. Like people who are in ignorance, if you go to Kerala, if you go to coastal Karnataka, people get a lot of siddhis. There are a lot of siddhis. Yeah, one can get siddhis in ignorance, passion also, and goodness also. But
Like black
siddhis,
magic powers, Prabhuji.
if person who is in goodness, he can utilize siddhis for others' help, passion for one's own, ignorance to destroy himself and others. Like Bakasura, he got a siddhi of keep a hand on anybody's head, it will burst. But that he was in ignorance, therefore it became the cause of his own death. Siddhis don't depend upon the modes.
Basically, any kind of austerity can give you siddhi.
Yeah. And it depends on what kind of siddhi has got. It's a sattvic siddhi, rajasic siddhi, tamasic siddhi. There are 3 modes. 3 modes are divided everywhere. Faith, charity. That is what we are in this chapter.
Yeah, understood.
Maharaj Journey of book. Maharaj meets so many people. Journey of book of Maharaj, he comes across so many
Yeah,
people.
I was thinking about that only, that Maharaj meets Naga sadhus and all in Himalayas.
No, it's more based on. It's not that all Naga sadhus are in that kind of way. It depends upon if they are not killing, not harming, if they are not violent, then they are in goodness.
But they're smoking weed and all, Prabhuji.
Then yeah, again, that matters. That depends. So it's like, yeah, if anywhere they are taking intoxication, that comes in ignorance. Okay, it's already 8:30.
It's okay, Prabhuji. I think we can take one more.
What all of you feel? Everybody is
We
tired.
started late.
No, started late. That is my problem. But ending on time is my duty.
Yeah, because
So yeah, we have completed 4, 5 to 6. I think next 2 hours we can complete this chapter. It's not very big. Next week I am in Mayapur. There's a national camp. Radheshampu is there, so I'll be there. So from there I'll be able to take these sessions. I don't know, because there will be morning 10 to evening 8, 9 o'clock sessions will be there. So I was feeling that we can have one more session this week.
No,
Is that okay? No.
I'm traveling, Prabhuji. I don't want to miss the class.
Then based on my schedules in Mayapur, I'll try to schedule the classes. Timings also, I'm not able to take 6:30 to 8:30. I may take it from 7 to R7. I may take it 75 minutes. I don't want to miss a gap because I want to complete it by June last week, 18th chapter. Because from July, we can start your nectar devotion. At least by before Kartik, you can complete your Bhakti Shastri course. Okay.
We give exams and within a 1 month we have one more exam.
Which exam?
Bhakti Shastri only, Prabhuji.
Oh. Any questions?
Prabhuji, this question does not belong to these verses, but it's later because I'll be absent in the next class. What are the threefold austerities?
Next class means Friday you're absent.
Yeah, I don't know if I will be able to join. So what's threefold austerity?
Officially we're ending here. Somebody wants to discontinue, they can discontinue, take prasad, they can do their activities in the sea. And somebody wants to willingly here, they can. It's done. Officially we're ended. 8:32. Yes. Yes, question, Matanji.
What's threefold austerity, Prabhuji?
Threefold austerity. Oh, austerity in 3 modes.
It says in one, in the 17th shloka.
Austerity in 3 modes, na?
Oh, okay.
It's austerity in 3 modes: mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance.
Okay.
Austerity of body, austerity of speech, austerity of mind.
Oh, body, speech, and mind. Okay. And Prabhuji, one more thing. About charity, it says that if you do it to the right person at the right time in the right place, then it is of the charity of goodness. Right? So sometimes you are in a situation like, for example, if you know somebody is having a problem, maybe the family member is having some medical condition or emergency and they want money. So what should you do in that condition? Should you donate? Because if you donate, you will get bind by that donation, right? Because it's not done for a supreme cause or anything. It's just to help the person for the medical emergency.
Actually, I wanted to add from the last time when I ended discussion with somebody is orphan, somebody is like that. Should we help them? Should we not help them? Is it compassion? Is it material compassion? When we become devotees, Krishna understands that we are trying to practice his bhakti and we have assets, and anyway we are engaging in service, and somebody is in need, in genuine need, we should help.
You should help. That won't cause any bondage, karmic bondage.
Krishna will take care of it.
Okay.
If we practice bhakti, tell Krishna, we have given us so much. We are your devotees, but just because we are devotees, we don't want to become hard-hearted by not helping this person. So I know I'm doing this. Also, the purpose of this will please you or not please you, but I'm chanting, I'm reading, I'm hearing, but still I have to help them. We don't have to be so much choosy that what will happen will I get a karma. Therefore, I wanted to add, which we ended in the last time regarding the orphans and this and that. Yes, if we can help them, you can help them. We can make them Krishna conscious or not Krishna consciousness. We have a capacity to help them. But we should practice first missionaries, helping temple, helping the preaching mission, and other things. And despite that, somebody approaches us for some help. Yeah, we can give whatever we can.
So it's all right to do sometimes.
Somebody has come to us, then it's better to rather than tell no, we give something.
Yeah, at the most, what you can do is maybe you're giving them some Lakshmi for the medical treatment. You offer it to Krishna first and then give it to them.
Krishna understands. See, like simple thing, I'll give you an example of software company. Somebody is working for a company from Monday to Friday, Saturday to Sunday as off. The company will not pay him for 30 days, 22 days. Company will pay him for 30 days. Also, he's not working for a company for that 2 days. So if you are completely devoted to Krishna, even though you're sleeping, sometimes you are not conscious, but still you are trying your best, best of a condition. Like Krishna understands, he's my devotee. Ultimately, you're going to leave this whole money here. Once we leave, what will happen? Who will use the money in what way? But we can offer, if we can help someone, we can help someone. But understand, yeah, this is a needy person, I should help him. But not at the cost of Krishna's service. And people feel, anyway, he's spent so much money, so why should I do this? Let me help these people. That is different. Then he will not understand. It's not about ISKCON has money or not. ISKCON has no money. All ISKCON money is coming from the charity. It's a trust. So, but by giving, we get purified.
Yeah. And same goes with relatives also, right? If you need same principle goes with relatives. Even if your relatives are non-devotees and they need some financial help, and you are in a position to help, it's okay to help them, right, Prabhuji?
You should help them. It's a human courtesy. Somebody is asking for help and we say them no, it will make us hard-hearted.
Okay, Prabhuji. Makes it very clear.
Correct. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Was Gaur Bhakti ki jai.